What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be doing something quite fun. We're going to be tuning the Alfa Romeo Giulia. If you guys are not familiar with my channel, this is my 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia 2.0 liter with all-wheel drive, and today we're going to be doing a slight tune on it to see if we can really get some performance figures out of this amazing car. All right, before we start, if you guys are new to the channel, please take a sec to just go check out the channel, some of my videos. If you like what you're seeing, like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to have all sorts of cool videos, not only with this beautiful car, but with other cool cars on the channel as well. So let's get right into tuning the Alfa Romeo Giulia. All right, so before we get into tuning the Giulia, let's just give you a basic rundown of the stock stats of the Giulia if you're not aware. This is a 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that produces about 280 horsepower and just over 300 pound-feet of torque. Routed to that is an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, and in this particular model, all-wheel drive. Normally, you're looking at a 0 to 60 of about 5 seconds and a top speed of right around 160 miles an hour. Now, what we're going to be doing to tune the car today is using this AutoFlash from Madness Autoworks. If you guys are not familiar with Madness Autoworks, they're just a company based in Texas that kind of specializes in tuning not only Alfa Romeos, but all sorts of different cars. But they're really known for Alfas, and they have carbon fiber exterior parts and all sorts of good performance mods like this one here. This is an AutoFlash. So while it's not going to be like a JB4 tune or centerline Alphas, you know, like total ECU remap, this is an AutoFlash. So instead of changing a parameter on the engine or bolting on another piece to gain more horsepower or whatever, this is just going to help get us past some of the restrictions that the ECU has and allow us to get a little more torque, a little faster shift speeds, etc., etc. And that's going to be all done through plugging this right into the OBD2 port of your car. Now, Madness claims that this will let you bypass some throttle limitations in all of the driving modes, so you have better throttle response and more power available lower down. It's also going to give you the more torque lower down, and it's going to allow the car to shift almost 24% faster. Now, if all that is true, this car should accelerate a little better and just feel a little sharper and a little more responsive while you're driving it. So while it's not going to add horsepower or change the car drastically, it should feel faster and allow you to have a little more fun with this vehicle more readily. Now, this cost me about $449 on Madness' website, plus $50 for shipping, so right around $500 altogether. But the nice thing is it takes seconds to install this, and it plugs right into your OBD2 port. If you're not familiar with where the OBD2 port is on your car, it's going to be located right where the pedals are, right under your foot. It's going to be that white plug right in there. And this is just going to slot right into it for a few seconds, flash the ECU, and then you'll be all set. So we're going to run over this, see if this is worth your while or if it's expensive and it doesn't really do anything for your car. We're going to install it, and then we're going to take the Giulia for a drive and see if it's made a difference. So without further ado, let's get right into the install process. All right, now I am going to be honest with you guys. I have installed this on the Giulia already, and you've seen it in terms of performance in the other videos that I have made. But I wanted to make a video reviewing this and seeing whether you guys thought it would be worth my while, or did I waste my money on this? But I have been in what Madness likes to call the learning phase, which is the first 1 to 100 miles of driving that the car is learning and adapting and getting, you know, better, sharper throttle response. So what I'm going to do is kind of reflash it today. We'll go through that learning phase, and I'll tell you if I really notice a difference, because the Giulia is already such a, you know, wonderful performance car. So we're going to go through that. We're going to install it, and I just want to disclose that because you guys might not seem as surprised with the results as you might think for the first time, because it isn't my first time. But I'll still give you an accurate view on this and tell you whether or not it's worth your while. So let's get right into installing this ECU flash. All right, so first thing Madness says on your website is you want the car in the accessory mode. So I have it running right now. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to click it once just to put the car into accessory mode. They said make sure lights are all on your dash, etc. It's going to do its beeping, all that good stuff. Okay, next thing you're going to want to do is take your AutoFlash, and they said you're going to plug it into your OBD2 port, and it's going to light up and give you kind of an audible click that it has been plugged in. And then what you're going to want to do is wait, and once this thing starts flashing and kind of beeping at you, that's when you're going to know that the AutoFlash is done. I said it should take about 30 to 90 seconds. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. All right, I'm actually going to get out of the vehicle to show you this just so you get a little bit better of an angle. But all right, so the car is in accessory mode. We're going to come down here, find our OBD2 port and see if we can get it to plug in here. Right, so you heard that audible beep, and then it says it's just gonna stay, a stationary light, and it will start flashing whenever the flash is done. So we're gonna sit here and wait for a few seconds until it starts flashing. It says it could take about 30 to 90, and then once it's done, you pull it out, and basically it's all done. There's only a few steps after that, but it's very simple, very easy. So I think the price tag all right, so now it's beeping at us. Go ahead and pull it out. All right, now we're gonna get back in. All right, now what Madness says is you're gonna turn the car off. And just give it a second. Let everything kind of wind down. Then what you're gonna do is put your foot on the brake, start the car. And then now Madness says the only thing is you have to sit here and let the car idle for 5 minutes without touching the accelerator, without touching anything in the car. You just need to let it sit here and idle for 5 minutes while the car is figuring things out. The ECU is being flashed and everything is updating. After the 5 minutes, you're done. You can go ahead and drive the car, go through all the full rev range, and then it says for that first 1 to 100 miles of driving, the car will be adapting to how you drive. And depending on how aggressively or how supple you'll drive, it will increase the performance and give you a sharper throttle response and all sorts of that good stuff. So I'm gonna let the car idle for 5 minutes. I'm gonna get you guys on the POV cam, and then we're gonna take this thing for a little drive and see whether or not I can notice some sort of difference in terms of the driving, the throttle response, and the gear changes. So I'm gonna let this car idle, and then let's get on the road. And while we're sitting here idling, I would just like to say that the nice thing about this is if you were to go to a tuner's, or if you were to go to the dealer, and let's say this happened to get flushed away with a system or a technological update that you had to put on the car. Nice thing is you can always go back, take that ECU module, flash it again, and boom, it'll put it right back on for you again. So this is, it's not something that's like a one and done. It's super easy to put on. Again, you saw it took like 30 seconds to install there. You let it idle for 5 minutes, boom, it's back on. And this is also compatible with other tunes. So if you have something like a centerline Alpha tune, or you go with one of Madness's other kind of like stage 2 tunes, this can piggyback with those as well and still give you that kind of sharper throttle response, that little bit more of a faster gear change. So you can couple this with other tunes, which is a super, super nice thing. And it was super easy to install. So like I said, I'm gonna let this finish idling, and then we'll get you guys in the POV cam and take this for a drive. All right, so we've got the flash on the Giulia now, and she's all idled and ready to go. So we're gonna take it for a drive now. So we're gonna start here in our normal mode, and we're just gonna see if anything feels different and changing. Remember, the car is still kind of in its learning phase. So it's gonna still be figuring things out. You're not gonna immediately feel a night and day difference. And I don't think that's kind of the purpose of this thing, but we shall find out here. So right now in the normal mode, it doesn't feel any different, but I did just reflash it. So, it's gonna take that sec to figure its thing out. But I'll tell you what I've experienced over, those 100 miles of me having driven it previously to installing this. In the normal mode, I noticed that it's just not as hesitant to make decisions with the shifts. I think the biggest thing with this ECU flash is the transmission difference. The transmission on the Giulia is already tuned, pretty much perfectly and, phenomenally. It's a great transmission to begin with, and then Alfa just takes it and runs with it in terms of the tuning and makes this a very, very amazing, transmission to drive. But I will say, unless you're in dynamic mode, sometimes the transmission would seem a little indecisive, for lack of a better term. With this flash, that's changed. Even in the A mode, or the most advanced efficiency, comfiest mode, I notice a difference in the shifts. The shifts are just more purposeful. In normal mode, when I put my foot down, it's quicker to downshift, and then it puts me back in the right gear that I need. But then if I back off, and I start slowing down, it quiets down and it shifts back up to the to a higher gear. So I think the transmission definitely feels a little more responsive and faster. Like the downshifts in the other modes are definitely a lot quicker than before. If I kind of just give it a little hit here in normal mode, quick, and you can see in normal mode it'll shift up because I had taken my foot off the pedal. It knows, all right, he's not ready for any more throttle. Boom, boom, boom. Sometimes it would kind of get confused and linger a little bit. That's just kind of a characteristic of automatic transmissions in general. But now there's no confusion with the gearbox. It knows exactly what it's doing. It knows exactly what I want it to do. And it feels a whole lot better to drive around. Now, if we throw the car into dynamic mode, you can see immediately it gave me a super fast downshift. Now, this is where this ECU, flash, AutoFlash, whatever you want to call it, makes the biggest difference, packs the biggest punch, is in this mode. And for obvious reasons. This mode is already fast, it's already fun, but this takes it up to the next level. It definitely feels like there is a little more lower down. When I punch it from off the line, I'm not waiting as long. I get a bigger buildup of that torque, and the transmission in this is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you can see I'm slowing down without the gas pedal, or without the brake pedal rather, and it's doing some downshifts. But if I punch it, I mean, those are some insanely fast shifts. And it's so decisive. It definitely feels like they are slightly faster. I mean, the Giulia, like I said, already a fantastic performer, and already just a joy to drive. But this takes it up, I think, to that next level. And the more you drive it, the more you notice it. Like if you're driving normal mode for a while, and then you throw it into dynamic with this ECU flash, you're baffled by just how fast this thing shifts. I mean, sure, maybe it gives you that little bit more of the torque, and maybe it gives you, but that's not really what you're noticing. The power doesn't feel any different. The car doesn't feel any faster, really, 0 to 60. But it's more fun to drive because you have those more responsive shifts, and those are definitely noticeable. I mean, when you get into the brakes a little bit, the way it chucks up a downshift is absolutely incredible. I mean, this thing, is very willing now with the transmission. Again, like I'm saying, I'm repeating myself a lot here, I know, but the Giulia was already willing, already had a great tune transmission. This just takes it up to that slight next level. I mean, if I chuck it around here, right, and well, let's actually do a different test. So if we're just kind of cruising, we'll let it shift up, and then I plant my foot. Nice thing is it'll really hold on to gears now in dynamic mode and make sure that I'm ready. It's so decisive, this transmission now, so decisive. I mean, this makes this car, if it wasn't already, one of the best driving vehicles because of that transmission. Like, it can tell, it reads exactly based on your throttle input where the transmission should be and how fast you should be shifting. When you're full throttle, this thing, I mean, is gone. It's like a missile. I mean, the downshift, right? A little bit. Look how quickly it downshifts 2 gears. Absolutely insane, and then it's holding on because it knows maybe I'm ready for more power, but when I put my foot back into it more gently, then it goes back and it calms right down. It's super decisive, this transmission, and it reads exactly what you want based on your throttle inputs, based on your steering, and it definitely increases that drivability and the fun factor that comes with this vehicle. I mean, we'll do a little bit of a brake test here and see how fast this thing can downshift. So we're about 55 mile an hour. I want to make a turn, slam on my brakes a little bit. Yeah, I mean, and it throws good downshifts your way. I mean, lightning fast from a torque converter gearbox. This feels as fast as a dual clutch, and I think that Madness Autoworks Flash has definitely helped that. Even in the A mode, I'm gonna chuck it into A mode. Nobody likes to see driving in A mode, but when you chuck into A mode, I mean, if I put my foot down in A mode, look how responsive that was. Now, the engine's limiting me because, you know, I'm in A mode. That's supposed to be a comfy setting, and the gearbox is supposed to be a little more sluggish and refined. But if I'm just cruising in A mode and I need to pass somebody still, I mean, that's still pretty quick for what's supposed to be the comfort mode. So it's definitely increased the throttle response in terms of how the gearbox wants to react to that. And I think, you know, since they claim that you get that little bit more torque low down, that makes the car just feel more responsive and eliminates pretty much any of that turbo lag that would have been in there as it is, because the transmission is so quick and the throttle is so sharp that you're getting rid of any of that kind of lag that's sitting there waiting, especially in that dynamic mode. I mean, this car totally transforms in dynamic mode, and this thing is no exception when you add that little bit of the tune on there. So definitely worth your while. Is it going to be a night and day difference? No, it's going to be something that if you daily drive this car, you're going to notice it over time. It's going to be something going to be like, wow, you know, that feels faster, that feels a little sharper. And the more you drive it, the harder you drive it, the better that this ECU flash is going to adapt to that driving. So I'm going to throw it back into N mode, and we're just going to kind of cruise here while I finish this up, because, I mean, again, you're getting a great balance between, it's not gonna screw up your car. It's not like a tune where you're jeopardizing reliability or anything like that, you know, and adding horsepower and putting potential strain on the engine and the transmission and all that good stuff. But you're getting a slightly more performance-oriented drive, and I think that's what this is all about. $500, that's a little steep. You know, it was a little hard to justify at first, because when I first plugged it in, I was expecting, you know, something completely different. But that's not what this is. This is not really a tune, it's a flash. And the difference is, with the tune, you know, you're going to be changing those parameters. You're going to be getting those horsepower gains and all that. This, you're not changing the horsepower or any of that. You're just making all of that you already have, that 280 horsepower, all of that 300 pound-feet of torque, and you're just allowing that to work with the transmission better and faster and be more readily available to you whenever you want it. And I think for that case, this Madness Autoworks does a fantastic job, and it's definitely worth your while. Just give it a try, you know, just check it out, because you can piggyback it, like I said, with all those other tunes. So if you already got a tune, just try this too, see if it makes a difference on your Giulia. But I definitely think if you're not into, you know, fully transforming and tuning your cars and, you know, voiding warranty or anything like that, this is fully reversible. You can flash it as many times as you want, and you're gonna get something that's just slightly better than what you would have started with. So if you guys did enjoy this video and this little review of the tune, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate all of the comments and everything that you guys give me in this channel, all the support. Please be sure also to like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to see more content with this beautiful Giulia and other cars, be sure to stick around. We got plenty of things coming your way. And go check out Madness while you're at it too. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.